In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 signs that your ex is currently regretting breaking up with you. 5 signs that you are this close to getting back together. Before I share with you those 5 signs, I just want to put a bit of context, as you know. First of all, you have to understand that when you break up, you're making, or when we make a decision, you are making an assumption. Making the assumption that I will be happier, I expect things to always be the same together. So we've tried and tried again and things will always remain the same. The thing is, we always regret when we make wrong assumptions. And human beings, people usually make a lot of bad assumptions. And that happens very frequently when it comes to relationship. We assume that what we had, we assume that the state of the relationship will always be the same. And the thing you have to also remember is that most people hate to be wrong. So very often people tell me, yeah, but my ex is very stubborn. He or she will never change their mind and so on. Well, this is not necessarily true. First of all, people hate to be wrong, but people sometimes admit that actually the best situation is to admit that I'm wrong. And yeah, people can regret, especially when you are realizing that you're losing something important in your life. So people regret because of those things. The first sign is increased communication. You have more frequent texts and calls, social media messages. You see that they initiate more. So at the beginning, maybe you were the one starting the conversation. Now they initiate the conversation. Also, the content, it's more emotional. It's more about the old times, right? They talk fondly about the thing that you've been doing together when you were together. Usually there's a transition from being like very distant and cold to be more intimate. So you see the tone would be very different. It's something that I assess with my clients. So I have few clients on WhatsApp. So I coach them through WhatsApp and they send me screenshots of their conversation with their ex. It's something that I assess the tone, the frequency of the messages, whether they initiate contact. The second sign is they want to hang out more. This is what you have to aim. Texting and communication is important to establish and to assess where your ex, in terms of their situation, where he is or she is. But at the end of the day, you have to see that person. And never think that if you see your ex once, you'll be able to solve everything. It's a series of different meetups. And the thing is, you'll see whether your ex is interested, whether your ex starts regretting the breakup, when they'll be, again, following up, asking you when you could see each other, when you bump into them accidentally, again, suggesting things to see each other. That means that they want to see you more. And one pro tip, when you have a date with your ex, make it short. Make it short because then they would want to see more. If you have a date, let's say you see each other for the whole day and you talk for the whole day, what will happen is that your ex will feel like, well, we've said everything that we have to say. So I don't feel the need to see you right away. You have to, especially at the beginning, you have to have 45 minutes, 1 hour date, keep it short and sweet, because they feel like, oh, I had like 10 items to discuss and I only talk about 2. So I need to see you. I need to speak with you. And the same for you. Don't think that you're going to be able to talk about all the things that you want to talk about on the first date. It's very important. The first date is not so critical in the sense that it's not a make or break situation. And you have to accept that it's not a make or break situation. It's just one point. The idea is to have a series of points and sort of linking those points together. The third sign, they apologize. They become less conflictual. It's less about me against you. It's less about you've done this, I've done that. They also take responsibility for what they've done. So again, that's the sign that we are towards the end of the recovery. They operate more as teammates. So very often when I have couples in sessions, it's really about, I explain them, when you have a problem, it should never be me against you. It's we have a problem, the kids' education, the house, whatever, holidays. It's not me against you, I need something else than you. It's like we have a problem. Let's look at the problem both of you from one side and assess and figure out a solution the same way we would be dealing with the problem as co-workers or teammates, right? We are different, we complement each other. Let's try to figure out a solution that works for both of us. Fourth one, they talk about the past positively. So again, in the messages or when you see them, they talk about memories and happy memories together. You feel a sense of nostalgia. Nostalgia is in French. Nostalgia. And that means that their feelings is evolving. You're nostalgic about something that you want to get. You're nostalgic. Oh, I wish I could be young again. I wish I could be doing this again, right? And so it's putting forward this sort of idea, this desire for things to be the same again. Also, you'll see in the communication, usually the dynamic of those sort of communication, it's really about like what's not working. So the breakup is like, it's not working. All the things, all the grievance that they had against you. And after, towards the end, it's more about what's working rather than what's not working. So it's important again to assess this communication, this sort of language. And the last one, and at the end, I will give you some tips. The last one is the change in their social media behavior. So posting photos, memories of you two. They start liking your story, your post more than before. You'll see some of their posts are indirectly targeting you. Now, with social media, be aware. I think people tend to see any type of interaction on social media as a strong sign. So if your ex is liking a story, that doesn't mean that they want you back. That's not enough. You need to look at the dynamic and also the overall aspect and the overall behavior on social media. So what do you do with that? What I described is the last part of the relationship recovery process. So if you were to be a client with me, this would be like the last few weeks of us working together because it's nearly done. You have to understand that the process is always first few weeks quite cold because your partner, your ex, is assessing the situation. Will it be the same? Will you blame me? Will you attack me? Will you confront me? So they will be very cautious because they don't want to enter a relationship where they're not necessarily sure. They don't want to hurt you. They don't want to get hurt. So they'll be very cautious, cautious in those interactions. Also, when you don't see those signs that I described, it doesn't mean that that's not working out, right? It probably means that you're early in the process. So if you're interested, you can message me and let me know in the comment section. There are a few links. Probably a link for you to book a discovery call if you're not sure in which phase of the recovery you are. And last but not least, perhaps you're not seeing those signs because your relationship cannot be saved. And it's not depending on how much you're working on yourself or the things that you're implementing in your life. Perhaps this relationship is not something that you can recover from. Again, there's a quiz in the description to assess this. It's totally free. If you're not sure if your relationship can be saved, have a look. It's totally free. This assessment is not to tell you, you're going to get back together, because I cannot predict that. Nobody can. However, I can predict whether your relationship is not something that you can recover, which is, in a way, most of the relationship. If you think about it, most of the relationships fail. 50% of people getting married divorce, but we have had before relationship. So have a look at this. It's very important to be clear on your expectations. I don't want to end like on a very negative note, and I'm not usually someone pessimistic, but I hate people to cling to this idea of we can get back together, there's a possibility, etc., etc., etc. You have to be realistic. Sometimes when we're in love and when we lose something or we lose someone, we tend to disregard all the negative things. We tend to disregard that, in a way, our ex has not necessarily an ability to address things, to also work on themselves, because you need to work on yourself, but they also need to change and adjust a few things if your relationship if you want this relationship to work out. Have a look in the description. If you have any other questions or any comment, let me know. I don't want to be pessimistic, but again, look at your chances, be honest, speak with people, trusted friends, myself, anyone who don't know both of you, who doesn't know any of you, and have a clear idea. Then when you have a little bit of clarity of whether there's a chance or not, do the work. Again, you can do it, but please assess first whether you're not wasting your time. That's the worst thing that could happen, is for you to waste precious months or years trying to recover something that is not working out for you. I'll see you next time. Take care.